Hi, I'm Stephen Ham from Archery Supplies. This is the TRU Ball GO2 Release aid. It's new in my shop now. It's been on the market for a little while. It's at the top end of release aids as far as TRU Ball's concerned. TRU Ball being the largest of all release aid manufacturers, and this is the latest offering. I'm going to say TRU Ball, they have products aimed at pretty much all ends of the market, and this is aimed at the top end of the market. So let's just have a look at what's in here. Now, this is what it looks like. So the ring that it comes with, the grey one, I'm an average kind of size guy. This suits my hand. It comes with two other rings. It comes with two rings. The red one being small, the black one being large. You can see the red's thicker and the black's smaller. So if you've got big hands, you'd fit the black hole. If you've got small hands, you'd fit the small hole. I really like that. Very simple. A really simple idea. Okay, so let's have a look at how it works. So to cock the release aid, you press this button here, and then you push this button here, and then you click that across. That's a pretty standard way of loading a release aid. There's a few different methods of cocking a release aid. The TRU Ball blade, you obviously press the button and it shuts. This is the old school kind of way of doing it, and it reminds me of the Dave Cousins release aid, the just because, where you cock it and then you pull this across. True Fire's used it. Now with the GO2 release aid, what you've got is you've got a release aid you can use as a thumb release aid or as a little finger release aid. Now the concept of this is that a lot of, and it's going to remind me of the goat. So the TRU Ball GO2 release aid, you can have set up as either a thumb or a back tension, which is basically through travel. And that's what this is designed to do. So basically, if you're shooting with your little finger, you're basically using it as like a back tension. If you're shooting with a thumb, you're using it as more like a thumb release aid. Now, why do you want to do that? Because people who suffer from target panic, they want to change stuff and basically not know when the shot's going, and that's why the back tension's used. So they're basically aiming for longer, and their brain's not clicking, going, when do I shoot, when do I shoot, when do I shoot? The brain's thinking aim, 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 shoot, bang, gone. And it's thinking, God, I'm lucky that arrow went off in the middle. So that's the concept of this. Now this is very similar to the Carter convertible, I think it's called, which came out either this year or last year, which has got either thumb or the little finger, and I think it's twisted around to operate it. So if you want to shoot thumb, you just flip it. Very simple. This one's a little bit more complex because you've got to turn one on and turn the other one off. Now I have seen release aids like this in the past where you turn things on and off. Now the shape of this reminds me of the Carter hammer. Not a particularly popular release aid as far as I was concerned from Carter, but this feels comfortable. Now the grip of this reminds me, the way it's sort of straight across here, reminds me of the Carter same old thing, which I shot when I was 15 years old. So it's a very standard feeling release aid. It feels like, you can see my hand here, there's not big gaps in between, so if you've got big chunky fingers, you may find this too small for you. Now this is brand new. You saw me just open it. There's some little marks there. You can see I didn't drop it or anything. This is how it came straight out of the packet. Anyway, that's the GO2 release aid. Let's have a shot. Now when you're trying out a new release aid, this is currently set on the little finger, and I use back tension, and so I should be able to shoot this fine. Comes with a wrist thing which you can take off if you don't like. I kind of don't know why they've got that. Maybe it's so people don't drop it. I understand why hunters have it, because they want to walk around the field, but for target shooters, I kind of don't know why. Oh, I'm going to say too, the thumb doesn't actually activate. You can see the thumb here is solid, so you're actually going to use this finger to activate it. Now that's more like a release aid. Oh no, that was the, I was thinking of Stanislavski, which was activated by the middle finger. So that's kind of interesting. So you're shooting a handheld, but it's going to activate by this. So you might like that, which would be interesting. Price point on this bow, price point on this release aid, retails for about $450 Australian dollars. which puts it at the top end of release aid. So it puts it at the most expensive of all release aid, right next to the TRU Ball GO2, the TRU Ball Blade. So it would want to be great. And I sold one of these today to a local archer, and he came in, tried it and brought it. He didn't want to buy it because he just bought another release aid last week, and he said, no, this is great, I want to buy it. I don't think he told his wife about it. Maybe he did when he got home, but we'll see if we see him next week. But he seemed to like it, so I've cocked. That was interesting. So I cocked it, but I kind of had to press that little finger down. So I found the cocking a little bit more complicated. Now you want to keep your finger away from this little from the trigger. If you touch that, it's going to go off. It's like a hair trigger. So I'm going to put it on. I'm going to shoot it like a back tension. Put my little finger on. Anyway, so in the draw cycle, the release aid felt extremely comfortable as any release aid I've shot. Really liked the feel of it in drawing. What I didn't like was putting this little finger on there, because when I'm putting it on, it's kind of touching there, and I kind of didn't like that too much. So is it going to become more comfortable as I shoot? Now the shot itself, when I got my finger there in place, was fantastic. It felt great. So loading, I'm going to say not a fan of the loading. Definitely a more tricky release aid to load. So a trickier release aid to load, because you've got to kind of get it through there. You've got to put the D-loop through that little hole. I don't know how I'd go using this trigger. I really don't, because you've got to pull back with your finger off the trigger, get in position, then do that. So I wouldn't be real keen to shoot this with this finger. Now if you've shot this release aid, drop a comment about using this finger or not. I don't know, that'd be scary, because when I draw back using either a thumb release aid or using back tension, basically this finger's doing the work. So I'd be kind of a bit scared about using it. Now the actual overall shot of the shot sequence where it goes off is fantastic. Love it. Loading, not loving. I'm going to give the loading probably a 5 out of 10. It's really interesting getting your little finger around here, because it kind of feels like I'm putting my finger at an angle, but when I've got my finger on that little trigger, it's beautiful. It goes off so well. It's so crisp. It's really nice. So the TRU Ball GO2 Release Aid, price point $450, putting it at the top end of the market. Now against the other release aids, which are the top end, the Blade is an absolute beautiful release aid to shoot, which is a thumb release aid. But let's say you don't want thumb because you're suffering target panic, then you've got this. Now if you don't want to shoot back tension because it's a bit scary, the thing shoots when you rotate your hand, this would be great, because it's actually a trigger, but you can shoot it like a back tension. Now the fact that my little finger doesn't go on there nice, I feel like my hand wants to go in an angle, so I feel like it wants to touch here first rather than here. So it's not, if my hand was already wrapped around, it would be fine, but what's happening is I think my hand's sliding off like that, and then I'm having trouble getting my hand on. So that's because when I'm keeping this finger off to draw it back, my hand's kind of slipping away. Here's what it is. So, but once it takes the shot, once you're aiming, this is absolutely beautiful to shoot. Yeah, one of my favorite release aids to shoot. But because of the loading, and the loading will get easier the more you shoot, but I think just the loading is a little bit trickier than some. And the little finger, fitting the little finger, which may get better with shots. I wouldn't be rushing to buy myself one, but it is definitely one of the sweetest release aids to shoot here. I absolutely love it. But because it's so expensive, and I wouldn't be using this finger. Although if you've got an inclination to use that finger, that'd be good. I feel like I'm loading it better now. Yeah, so the theory is with a little finger you can't have target panic. That's the theory. And in fact, when I won my Australian title when I was a kid, I used to use a little finger release aid. So nice release aid, do like it, but I'm not rushing to buy one just yet. I'd be waiting to get some more people's views on this release aid, the Go2 from TRU Ball. If you can, have a shot with it and see what you think of it. I'd be wanting to know what people think of shooting with this finger with it, which is kind of interesting to me. Like that would be interesting to me, and maybe I should do a review of shooting this finger with it. But interesting release aid, the Go2 from TRU Ball release aid. Check it out at your local archery shop and see what you think of this release aid. And if you're a beginner archer and you're shooting a $300 bow, you probably don't want to buy a $400 release aid. I'm just going to say that because it's not going to shoot that much better than a cheaper release aid. But if you're into archery and money's no object and you shoot every day, that's where this comes in. Because it's like, you know, the one I sold today to the customer, he's got a whole bunch of release aids. And I think for him, this is a perfect choice because it takes away the target panic, the execution of the shot's nice. I think he'll shoot good scores with this. And in fact, he did come back after he purchased it and I said, how'd you shoot? And I'm pretty sure he said really well. Pretty sure. 99% certain he said he shot really well with it on his first shoot. So, and I could see that because these shots are just coming off so clean for me. It's just so easy. Much easier than the back tension to get the shot off. Because it's a trigger, so well, I'm not rotating my wrist to get it off where my shoulder position is. I've just got to apply a little bit of tension, it goes, right? So very interesting concept. If you're into serious competition shooting, the Go2 from TRU Ball is definitely a release aid to look at. TRU Ball is generally produce high quality products, and they're generally aimed at the top end of the archery market. So check it out. And this is nice between this finger and this finger. It feels really nice. You can see how narrow it is. That feels really nice to me. If you've got big fat hands, you probably want to have big fat hands. I'm going to say tradie hands. You probably want to have a feel of it to make sure it's not too small for you, because that feels pretty good to me. And I've got little baby hands. So anyway, I'm Stephen Ham from Archery Supplies, TRU Ball Go2. Check it out at your local archery shop. Thanks for watching. Bye.